Ooh, welcome back, everyone. Can I have reactions in the chat? No, I mean, I'm not even seeing the chat, so it wouldn't matter that much. But we would like to ask you another question on the Mentimeter. You saw just like in the pre-slide, you saw everything, the code. And we would like to ask you, do you already know what you want to do after studying? And I will pass that question right on to you.
Yeah, I am still figuring that out. I'm trying to figure out my fourth year at the moment. But I actually had an amazing chat about that with one of our future or former alumni as well, who was also here in the studio a couple times ago.
Yeah.
And she helped me figure out kind of a direction or help me with a tool that is going to give me a direction into what I want to do. Very nice. I think it's going to go a little bit into, well, definitely something social with people. Oh, yeah. But it's still very vague, but I was very happy that actually something like this, the open day, helped me get in touch with people.
Yeah, true. I also got in touch with a person that unfortunately couldn't make it. But also, about internship possibilities. And I'm going to continue pursuing that. I'm also not 100% sure yet, but I do think I want to go into the direction of like a creative director or producer.
That fits very much within creative business.
Yeah, it does, definitely. And that's also like, if you were wondering what you can do, like being producer or doing directing things is something that you can do with the study afterwards, especially producing. And yeah, I want to go into that direction a little bit.
All right. Let's take a look. Yes or no? Well, it's
50-50.
Kind of. We usually have this image, right?
Yeah.
About half of the people know, which I always find very impressive because I never had an idea. When I started studying, I was barely figuring out what I was going to study.
But to be fair, I wouldn't know if my friend students would like
students.
Yeah, I just completely missed the word for that. Would be, I didn't want to call them colleagues, you know.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people do, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, we know what you mean.
Yeah. Either way, like I don't ask them what they want to do after they study usually, so I wouldn't know.
I feel like it does come up every now and then now in this phase, at least of my study, because in event management, leisure and event management, we are like looking into our internships, into our professional products, which we're going to do in our fourth year, and then are looking into, okay, where do we want to head long term? So what is helpful? So I have a couple of people who also want to start their own company. We're going to look into a lot of those aspects also when we get back to education practice later.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship also a big part of certain or of the school in general, actually.
Yeah. So I think it does come up every now and then, but it's very interesting for some people to be like, I thought I was going to do this before, then I studied, I came here, I did parts of what I thought I was going to do, and I realized it's not actually my thing.
Yeah, that happened to me in my first study, to be honest. So,
which is, part of the process as well. Yeah. So I think it's also a fair thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very curious how many of you are gonna. We have
nearly 60% no, and I think that's, at least from my experience, more relatable. But still, like, so 40% of people know what they want to do afterwards. Still, like, because the span of studying is also so long, right? Because you can have. Well, if you go to study here, it's at least 4 years, and then you could even do a master and potentially go to 5, or if you do your master, then somewhere else again, even like 7 years or 6 years.
Yeah, it can be long. One step at a time for us.
Yeah, definitely.
But we do have some people who already figured out what they want to do, or at least do something for now. So let's see if they actually figured it out or if they're just rolling with it.
Well, then go ahead.
I'm going to talk to them and I'll be back later.
Yeah, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome in the studio today. It's good to have you all here. I am very curious about what you're going to have to say today, because this is always one of my favorite talks. I just said this is something where I never know what to expect. So
thanks for having us.
Yeah, maybe we can start by introducing each and every one of you. First of all, on the screen, we have Victoria. Can you introduce yourself and what you do?
Hi, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Victoria. I graduated from creative business. Back then it was called media and entertainment management in 2020, and now I am company and tour manager in Germany, and I basically do touring with musicals So that's me right now.
That sounds very exciting. We're going to get back to you on that in a minute. Mohammed, hi.
Hi, I'm Mohammed Mustafa. I'm an international business alumnus, and I graduated back in 2023. And currently I'm working as a communication analyst, multimedia producer, and youth coordinator at the United Nations in Germany.
That was a lot. I hope we catch on to that. Maybe we can unpack a little bit throughout the talk.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Ioana. I also graduated NHL Stenden back in 2017. I did information technology, and right now I'm doing my master in Groningen actually, and also working a bit in some sports-related fields.
Let's get that fixed for a second.
Yeah. Do I have to say it again?
Yeah. Do we need to repeat? Yes, please. All right. So let's do that again. Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
Tell
Nice
us
to
again.
meet you. Oh no. Yeah, it's okay. All right. My name is Ioana. I graduated NHL Stenden back in 2017. Finished information technology, and right now I'm doing my master in Groningen and also working in more sports-related. So very different from IT.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna actually. I'm just gonna ask you.
Oh no.
How did you decide on that change of where you come from IT to now end up in sports?
I'm still doing my master's, right? So I'm still in the study of IT, but I've always been really passionate about sports. I used to play basketball back home, and then I came here and I continued being a referee in the Netherlands. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm also working at a gym. I live in Emmen. That's where my study was also.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was a good combination for me also to meet people and do something with my free time, basically.
Yeah, well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
If you still have free time with next to your master's, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mohammed, can you elaborate a little bit more on your projects that you're currently doing at the UN?
Well, currently we are focusing on Summit of the Future, which is coming up in September, where world leaders are going to come together and discuss more on UN 2.0, as well as the future of the SDGs. As you know, the target is 2030, but we might not achieve them by 2030, so we need something in the future. So currently we are focusing on debt, taxations, human rights economy, and gender equality and climate and peace.
Wow, big topics for the world. How does your study, your background in international business help you with that?
So I specialize in international marketing and sales. So and I'm working right now in the communication. So we do build campaigns to promote and raise awareness and to take actions. For example, last year we had 157 million actions all over the world for SDGs. So as communicators, so my job is to communicate these policy messagings to general people, to public, to government, to private sectors and GOCSO. So I have to design the communication campaign and to communicate this policy to everyone so that everyone better understand and take actions.
That's a big job.
Yeah.
I'm still comprehending.
Right.
Like, you know, if that's something we can do with what we learn here, we definitely did something right.
Yeah, I think the NHL Stenden prepares you well. It's like a hub where you gain all these informations and then you choose what you do with all these informations.
Yeah, nice. Victoria, how is that for you, that hub of information, as Mohammed calls it? What did you take away from it so that you are now working as this tour manager?
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. It is definitely a hub for information. It's, you know, you pick and choose what you do. You have your opportunities to specialize during the internships, during the practical modules, and then, you know, you take away what you need from it, and then you can shape and build yourself as a personality, but as a professional, but also like your career is influenced by that, definitely. Mm-hmm. I specialized in production back then, in audiovisual production. As a junior producer in audiovisual formats, and then I slowly developed into live entertainment, you know.
Amazing. Are there any particular skills that you feel like NHL Stenden taught you that set you apart from other people who were entering the work field?
I feel like the problem-solving attitude that we are taught over the span of 4 years is definitely something that sets you apart often from other peers. You're more like, you see things more as opportunities and less as problems. And that is certainly something that helps you in an environment that is so quickly changing. So you can estimate what's happening right now and what's going to happen in the next few months, years, and so on. So you can foresee things that are going to happen, and you can adapt to it more efficiently and quicker, I guess. So this problem-solving attitude is definitely something that you learn from the time here, and that is really, really helpful in either industry you end up in.
Thank you for sharing. I'm going to give that question, pass that on to Ioana, to you. Have you noticed any skills yet that stand out?
Well, I completely agree with Victoria, actually, because I think that's like the biggest thing that I took from NHL Stenden, just being able to adapt in any situation and also do stuff on my own. So in the first year, it was a pretty unexpected thing. Okay, you get a project and then solve it.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, we were all like, okay, what are we doing? What do we need to do? But you get in a group, and then in the end, you start figuring it out. You look online, and in the end, that's how it works in real life also. There's nobody who's going to tell you, okay, you have to take exactly these steps.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps you develop in that way, I think.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. I think that's really kind of motivating to hear when you sit here as a student still figuring out where you want to go. I love that. Mohammed, can you share some success stories maybe from after your graduation?
Yes, recently in November, December, I was at the UN Climate Change Conference in Dubai, where I met with the Secretary General. So I was doing all the communications for the climate conference, supporting all the government's negotiations that was happening, and highlighting them by creating visuals and multimedia highlights video, and also setting up interviews with the Goodwill ambassadors and the Secretary General. So I really had a chance to meet with him and talk with them as well. So I think that was also one of the great success stories, because we had 110,000 plus participants in Dubai from all over the world, as well as all the countries as well, and meeting some of the ministers there. So it really gave me a new perspective, and seeing how governments are now going out of fossil fuels. So that's also a success for our climate and the planet as well, because you don't have a planet B.
Yeah. Wow. I'm still amazed. Every time you talk about it, it feels so big and ungraspable to me. But of course, there's people working there, and you seem to love it, to be honest, when you talk about it.
Yeah, I've been advocating for SDGs since I was young, so it's like part of my DNA, you can say that.
Yeah. And did you get that job right after your graduation, or did you start during an internship?
Well, the current job, it was started as an internship for my graduation thesis. So my thesis was also on how to communicate on SDGs to general public and to intercontinental customers, which is the clients and governments. So they really liked my work and my enthusiasm, that I learned a lot within the NHL Stenden by studying and also by working at the student associations. I was part of 17 student associations. So they already offered me the job, and the only thing that was between me and the job was the diploma. So I was waiting for my diploma to sign the contract.
Wow. Can I call you a show-off, or is that too mean?
You can.
I'm
do it.
Art person.
No, but I think it's quite impressive. How long did it take you, Ioana, to find a job after you graduated your bachelor?
Well, it's kind of, it's different, because I went on to do a master's. But during my internship, my graduation thesis at NHL Stenden, the company actually offered me a job. But I had to decline them and say, like, hey, I'm sorry, but I want to continue with a master's.
Yeah.
But they also told me, like, okay, when you finish with your master's, you can come back. So please let us know. So I think that's still an open door for me. I hope so. But I would say it's pretty easy. Once you do your internship, if you do good in the internship, then most companies will offer you a job. I have a lot of friends who got offered a job, and they just stayed in the company. So, yeah.
How was that for you, Victoria? I see you also nodding.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was also offered a job right after my internship. I was in London doing working as a production assistant in a video production company, and then they offered me a junior producer position right after the internship. I just needed to write my dissertation, which I did right next to my job. So it was intense, but absolutely doable, I would say.
I'm going to ask you to press that big red button in the middle. Who wants to?
We can do it together.
Okay, together, sure.
Nice.
Yay.
Teamwork makes the dream work. But I think that's actually one of the most useful things we take away from studying here. If all of you say, I was offered a job right after my internship, I think that's quite impressive and definitely something that should give us as students here a lot of motivation and drive. Victoria, I'm going to ask you, can you elaborate a little bit more about what exactly it is that you do on your job?
Yes, absolutely. So as a company manager, I am basically going on tour with the production company that is, like in my case, musical theater. So for instance, I've done Cats, I've done Berlin. Tomorrow I'm leaving for my next tour, which is Six, the musical, which is coming to Germany and Switzerland. So I'm basically the person who accompanies the company. The company usually consists of the cast, live orchestra, the technicians, like the wardrobe department, the wigs and makeup department, stage management. And I'm taking care of the entire company. So usually you have like 50, 60 people who are with you, and we're going, we're touring usually Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And so you're taking the production to the different theaters, to the different venues. Sometimes it's arenas, sometimes it's like state operas. I've been to Semper Oper in Dresden. I've been to the Philharmonic in Cologne. I've been to Alte Oper in Frankfurt. So I've been to the most theaters, which are just beautiful places to work in. And I'm usually the point of contact for the venues, for the accommodations, for the transportation. I'm making sure that every department is having everything they need to be working and functioning to keep the show running. So I'm usually responsible for I'm just there to make sure that we have a show.
Yeah, well, but I think that's, it's important to have that person because without it, there is no show.
Well, that's what we do as managers, right? That's what we learn.
It is, but it's still, I think it's quite impressive. And then also when you mention some of the big names like Cats, that also definitely ring a bell, then it also shows, it's not just something small that you can work in a niche, but it's also something that can actually put you on the big map. Do you have any aspirations for future goals, or do you say...
Well, I'm quite happy in touring right now, but also at the same time coming from, video production, having done animated feature films to going on to live entertainment. We'll see what the future holds, right? Yeah,
true. Also, you also did a master's still, right? What was that in?
Yeah, I've done an international master in audiovisual media and cinema studies, which is... a degree that you get from 3 different universities in all over Europe, which was also quite an exciting opportunity to, develop further skills and also build a network. Yeah.
Thank you. Ioana, with your master's and you're trying to work and all of it, where do you see yourself heading? And let's start with that.
That's a very good question because I'm not really sure. No. I would say I'm planning to graduate from my master's in summer, actually, if all goes well. So I'm now writing my graduation thesis.
Wow.
And then hopefully a job.
Yeah.
I'm planning to stay in the Netherlands and hopefully move somewhere around Amsterdam or Utrecht, somewhere a bit more central.
I get that. Do you feel you need to speak Dutch in order to find a job here?
I think you don't need to. But it's always appreciated to know some Dutch. Even in IT, everything is in English, basically, the programming. But there are still some companies who actually want you to speak Dutch. There are, of course, a lot that don't require it. Like in Amsterdam, basically I think more people speak English than Dutch.
Yeah.
But it's always appreciated, I think. Dutch people always think like, oh, okay, they're putting a bit of effort into, integrating into the culture. So it helps.
So you speak Dutch yourself?
Well, I am actually learning now more.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a period when I was like, okay, everyone speaks English. I don't need to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm doing courses and I'm planning to learn it a bit better for the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's relatable. I saw you nodding as well. Do you have any experience that you want to share as well, Mohammed? Or
in Leeuwarden as well, you don't really need Dutch that much. It's always advantage to learn. But if you go to also in Amsterdam, but for example, for me in Germany, it's very important to learn German.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really don't speak English.
Not professionally.
Yes, but in Netherlands, I think it's pretty good, and it's like when you come here, it's like a home for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice, thank you. Then I have a finalizing question for the three of you. So we're gonna go in a round. We're gonna start with Victoria. Do you have any tips for future students?
I think, it's important to keep in mind that there's not only one way to get where you want to get, and also there's definitely not a right way to do things. So just do it your way, just look for opportunities, take the opportunities you get, and also just appreciate the development, the personal development that you do. That would be probably my tip.
It's big and it's scary, but we'll take it. Mohammed, how about you? Any tips?
Well, I think networking is very important for students. So I believe that when students join the NHL Stenden, they should all get involved in networking events and join the associations where they can meet different organizations here. And of course, the DB is a very good opportunity to network with the companies that they're going to work. Mm-hmm. And of course, the audience who are joining today, they already met 3 professionals today. So I think that's a win-win situation for everyone.
That's very true. The amount of connections I made from just being here and doing this job alone is incredible. So thank you.
I would say be open to everything, like to meeting different cultures, meeting different people. Don't stay only in your study. Like, I think you can meet so many other professionals in marketing, business, and then that can help later on. Maybe when you're looking for a job, you can ask some other people. And I would also say what you said with student associations, it's always important to do that. Be open to experience the university life, parties also, because that's also, we didn't talk about that, but that's also a big thing, I think. Yeah. So just be open to experience the whole, Dutch culture. I think that's important.
I'm having a hard time summing this up, but let me try. We have be open, personal development, take it with, network as much as possible, and also don't be afraid to rely on your connections.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Is that more or less sum it up?
Yeah.
Nice. Then thank you very much for taking the time to be here with us today. I think we had a great talk, and hopefully see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Hi, Jonas.
Hello. Welcome on the table again.
Thanks. I need to get sorted.
Yeah, don't worry. I got you. Nice. I now you talked so much about work. I think we should talk about breaks.
That's probably your favorite part of the working day, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I basically just had one, and I'm just an ordinary man, And my favorite one actually is the lunch break.
Where are you going with this?
Well, it's time for the show within a show. So in the taste buds, we review food from various campus cafeterias. We have about three bigger ones, and then some smaller places where you can get food as well. And for our first main course, because it's lunchtime, we have KFC, which means Korean fried cauliflower, actually.
Nice.
So let's have a little try.
Looks pretty good. I don't really know how to eat this though.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna do it like this. This is better than the American version.
It's definitely a lot healthier. So, now,
Ooh, spicy.
yeah, actually it is.
All right, and we are up. It's almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's almost, okay,
It's almost 1 o'clock. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, we're already halfway through nearly, yeah?
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun. Let's take a look at the program. So what do we have coming up? We have some study program live Q&A sessions that you can follow for international business, international tourism management, international human resource management, creative business, and European studies. If you're interested in one of these, make sure to check them out. You can access them by clicking on the session next to us.
Yeah, and we also have a DBE session, which is our innovative educational system, which translates to design-based education with Sarah, Laila, and Rokas, and they will share their experiences, i.e. their projects that they have been doing in school with that specific method of design-based education. And also in the studio, I will be joined by two beautiful guests named Bernardo and Lei. And yeah, we're going to talk about how is life as a student of NHL Stenden and answer your questions after we have seen their day in a life vlog.
Beautiful. And then for everyone who has not been watching the live stream for hours yet, here is our platform instructions. If you are in full screen mode, please exit it, and then you can see 4 boxes.
4 boxes below us. Yeah.
It has been a lot of yes.
A lot of talking. And the first tile you will see is study at NHL Stenden, which will lead you to the 6 reasons on why you should study at this wonderful university. One of them being, for example, affordability, or what we just talked about, design-based education, and also
application and campus tours.
Yeah.
Then we have our degrees, where you find also pre-recorded presentations of the different study programs that we offer, associate degree, bachelor degree, and master degrees. So anything that you're interested, make sure to check it out and kind of see which one might be for you.
Yeah, and don't forget to look at the Open Day program, which is right next to that, where you can find anything that is going on in and outside of the studio, and also mark things as your favorite if you don't want to miss out on them.
And then one more call to action, please book your one-on-one talks with our students, because they are able to help you out and give you any answers that you might be looking for.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, just sign up on that with the sign up for a one-on-one student talk.
Yeah, and as always, of course, we have the chat right next to us, yeah.
Yes.
Left next to us. Now I know what you mean last.
Aha.
Okay. Where you can ask questions, and potentially will also see the answers by our chat moderators, or they will be going to us, and we will answer them for you. Also, you can anytime ask our student guests anything.
Exactly. And then we also use the Mentimeter throughout the day. So if you don't already have that open, make sure to just open mentimeter.com, and then you get a code every now and then from us.
Yeah. So now we will be right back with the Day in a Life vlog session.